single day. I'm gonna make something great. That's my way.
Surprise, the boss is here. The boss is here.
Hi.
Yes, it's the most famous boy in the wheelchair, Rolling Ray. You have the basic bitch Camionce right here. Basic bitch 1, but you're a basic bitch 2, you know?
Okay.
So when a basic bitch is linked up, it's called a broke connection. And that's what you all are. You know I don't like you, Camionce. So for you to be sitting before me is just like, you know, a little icky like the weather.
Okay, Gemini. I'm going to do this shuffling. I've already been shuffling. And I'm going to just pray that you can see my table really well. Because, like I said, I've already been shuffling. But I'm trying to use what I got to give you a better view of the setup so far. At least until I get back on camera. So, this was a really cool mirror set. My nails, I'm about to get my nails done. I just took my other nails off. Then my aunt, and I cut my finger earlier, my hand. And my aunt gave me this very beautiful, beautiful handheld mirror. And it came with a comb. Oh, shit. You know, I'm always breaking something. I'm the clumsy one in the family. And it came with a comb. And I was like, wow, that would be really, really great for my reading table. It's just one of those older, I don't know, it just gave me vibes. It just gave me vibes from a past life and stuff like that. And if you guys didn't know, my family is very spiritual, very religious. Now, this didn't come from this particular aunt. It came from my other aunt, who is actually a Cancer. And when I say aunt, I mean my grandmother's sisters. One of my grandmother's sisters. Because, you know, a lot of times they say tarot, for us people who do it for real and are really into this, we're not necessarily here for the entertainment or for the money. A lot of times it may be in your lineage, your ancestry, your history, your family. One of my aunts, my other aunt, she, now the aunt who gave me this is extremely religious, but the other aunt is very, they're all religious and spiritual. It's a duality. The other aunt that I have, who, you know, I have a connection with, she did tarot for many, many years. She actually did tarot at Disney World or Land, whichever one it is in Florida, for many, many years, like over 10 years. She did tarot there until she retired. And I know a lot of times people used to ask me, where did you get your gifts? And you know how some things in the family are taboo, especially when you have a very religious family. So some things in the family are taboo, but then as I got older, people used to tell me about where some of this stuff comes from. Even though I know there was a lot of spiritual things in my mom's side of the family, just from things that I've seen happen. And they are from the country. They're from North Carolina, the country. So like the countryest parts of North Carolina. So there's things that I've witnessed and seen that have gone on where I knew. But then, you know, I always knew one of my aunts read tarot, read cards, and she was into all kinds of stuff that they would call occult. So anyway, just a little introduction. This is Madam X. This is Frequency Bro Radio. This is going to be Gemini's reading for August 13th through 31st. We're just going to see what's going on with Gemini. Gemini, do you need to clear your throat? You need to speak up. You need to let somebody know something. You need to say some words to someone. What's going on, Gemini? Is that the case? We're going to use the Rider-Waite Tarot deck. Jeez. Gemini, I hope you guys aren't having any throat problems. You have any speech problems? Any throat problems? Any problems from the neck up? Anything like that? And I know this may seem really quick, guys, but I shuffled these cards earlier. So I'm not going to waste a lot of time shuffling on camera. I don't have that much camera time. So what I'll do is when my camera space cuts off, I'm going to switch over to a voice recording. So I just wanted to try to get as much of this on camera as I could. And I hope you guys had a good solar eclipse. We just had the partial solar eclipse on the 11th, which was Saturday. And I have to tell you, even though there are like 5 or 6 planets in retrograde, Mars, Mercury, Saturn, I think Neptune, Pluto, are on in retrograde. I think I just said all the right ones. I could look them up if I was on a voice recording, but I didn't look them up for this reading because I'm not going to go too heavy into the astrology today. But all of those planets in a retrograde, you know, it was pretty damn good for me as a Cancer. It was in Leo. My North Node is Leo, and I love Leo's just one of the signs I love. All my good friends have been Leos. And this Leo partial solar eclipse did me damn good despite the Mercury retrograde. I was trying to get some things done. I was starting a lot of new things that had to do with communication. They weren't new right at the retrograde or like a week before the retrograde. They had already been in the works probably like months before the retrograde. So it wasn't like retrograde new. And you know the retrograde has like pre-phases and then pre-shadow phases and then post-shadow phases. So when you say new, I'm not talking about just from August 11th, but like before August 11th. And you know, we've been going through the eclipses, stemming back to the eclipses that we had in July and the eclipse prior to that. I forgot which month it was in, but we've had 4 already this year. So there were things that were already going on. But I have to say, the Leo eclipse was not that bad to me, and I'm thankful. So I think even if we do go through difficult, then let me say as well, it wasn't like it was extremely non-difficult, but it wasn't bad. And even things that may have not been good that happened with the retrograde, I know that they're going to be good in the end. I know there were things I probably needed to know. I know you guys may have found out some information. You may have found out some things about people in your lives, you know, whatever the case. You may found out about information that may have made you upset or made you feel some kind of way. You know, whatever the case is, those things were still for the good. So you might have been mad at them for a second and then it was like, I'm getting over this shit. And Gemini, I'm so glad to see the last card in your reading is the Ten of Pentacles, because you were coming out with a lot of reverse cards just telling me, you know, you upset. And I know Gemini doesn't always show their emotions, but just looking at what I got on the card before the table before actually taking a really good look at it, it just tells me Gemini is upset with choices they made. They're stuck on something from the past. There's somebody who is not providing stability. They feel like something having to do with money is being divvied out unequally. You guys are being treated unequally with money. You guys may be dealing with a Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo that has choices. There's some sort of triad going on or a love triangle going on. And if it isn't a love triangle, this person just likes to party and drink too much, and the places in which they put their money is not you. And Gemini is like, well, shit, you know, I can't have these feelings, or I can't depend on you. So, you know, I'm going to have to let this thing go because you are not able to provide the stability that I'm looking for. You are not able to provide the level of comfort and stability I'm looking for. So I feel like with Gemini, there's some sort of Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. You have cups. You could be dealing with a Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, or it could be any sign because, guys, signs that I pick up heavily in the readings are Venus in these readings, because a lot of times they have to do with love. The most that we see in these are love and money, because you can love anything. You can love your family, you can love your job, of course you love your spouse, you love your kids. So love always plays into these readings, Gemini as well. You might have kids or family that just your money is going to. They're taking all your money with the Six of Pentacles in reverse. Maybe you shelling out your money to your kids. You shelling out your money to somebody, Gemini. But anyway, the way these readings play out is a lot of times I will see, especially when it's deemed a particular love reading, if the reader goes into the reading with an intent of it being about love, a lot of times Venus comes out in those, Venus planets come out in those spreads, and another planet, I can't say too heavy whether I see Jupiter or Saturn or this one and the other. Sometimes I do hear people say, other readers say those, but what I notice in particularly with love readings is Venus, but Venus could also be just a general reading, because if somebody talks about maybe the reader's intent was not love, but then if they get to talking about love in the reading and they talk about you and you say, well, that's not my sign, see if it's your Venus sign, because Venus comes up when it pertains to the person that's in your life, or things that you might not think are you because it's not your sun sign, but it could be your Venus. And then what I also see play heavily into readings is where you have heavy energy at. So even if no matter what sign it is or what planet it is. So if you have 3 planets, and for me, stelliums, in my own astrological practice and in my own opinion, 3 planets start a stellium. 2 is a good bit of energy. But I would say 3 or more, you could take on that energy. It could really be talking about you. So maybe your sun sign isn't Gemini, but say you have 3 planets in Gemini, doesn't matter what they are, Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, Venus, Saturn, Mars, Neptune, Pluto, Saturn, any 3 planets in any one particular sign, I feel like that can call your energy into a reading as well. I really do. But for the most part, I definitely see Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Those are the 4 main ones. And then wherever you have heavy energy at. So, Gemini. Getting over some type of heartbreak, betrayal, Gemini, getting over even some type of illness. Maybe you guys had some heart problems. Maybe you guys have had something going on with how you feel, health issues or something like that. Maybe you're getting over something like that. But for the most part, I feel like Gemini, there's a break of a home. There had been a break of a home. There had been a break up of a home. That really kind of turned your world upside down, Gemini, and sent you down a whole new path with many, many choices to pick. This Gemini reading is just to the point for me. I'm going to lay some Lenormand clarifiers. This has become like one of my new favorite decks, so I'm going to lay some clarifiers for the sake of this reading and you seeing it and me laying clarifiers. This is pretty to the point to me. But some kind of breakup of a home, some kind of heartbreak, some kind of breakup of a family. Maybe you guys had 2 kids together, something like that from the past that turned your world upside down. And you feel like you're questioning your choices and decisions that you made in your life at this point, Gemini. Which these eclipses will cause you to do. We've had some major eclipses this year. That lunar eclipse at the end of July, that is not going to happen for like another 120 years. That was major inner emotional shit. You know what I mean? And I feel like Gemini, you just felt confused about whatever options in front of you. You're like, none of them are good enough. None. And then the ones you did choose, you're like, oh, well, it felt good at first, but then this motherfucker is kind of not who I thought he was. It felt good at first, but whatever felt good, it either caused you to spend all your money, or you find out somebody doesn't have the money that you thought they have. Maybe their money's tied up. I'm not saying they don't have any money, but maybe their money is tied up in things where it can't help you. So their money is tied up, or they don't have the money that you thought they had, and you're feeling like, well, damn, I'm not getting anything out of this relationship. This is not reciprocal to me. You're having to pay everybody out. You just feel like things are dropping out of your hands. Choices that you've made have caused you to lose money. In actuality, Gemini, is how I think that you feel about this. And I'm sorry, this Cups card was not in reverse. Trying to see if you guys can get a good look at everything. Yeah, so that Cups card wasn't in reverse. So inside, turn that back up, right? But what I see that is gonna happen with all of this, and what I'm gonna do for these August readings, I'm gonna lay these Lenormands, but I think because Lenormands go into so much more detail, and it takes me longer to do the readings with these. I think those are the ones I'm gonna start offering on my Patreon or on my subscribed site, because I really do like the detail and the clues and just more of a clearer picture that the Lenormand brings. So anyway, Gemini, I think even despite all of this stuff that is going on, and guys, I got too much crap on this table. Despite all of this stuff that is going on, I think you are still gonna find that maybe someone from your past This could be a friend, it could be a family member, it could be a love interest. I think you're going to find someone from your past communicates with you, or you meet them out, or you go out with them, or you guys get together, and you may meet the person of your dreams. You may meet the person that can provide you some sort of stability. You may meet through communication, through friends, through someone of the past. This is even a time of the past. You guys may go back to someone from the past. You guys may be seriously thinking about going back to someone from the past, because the options that you've been dealing with as of lately, you're out of balance. It has not been balanced. And it's just not about the money. It's about giving and taking, giving and receiving. So almost like a karmic giving and receiving. And it may have Geminis looking back to their past on what they once had that was stable. But I feel like through communication, this is the 3 card. 3 does resonate with Gemini. Gemini rules the 3rd house of communication. So through communication, through travel, through partying, through congregation, you're going to be able to build stability again. And that could even be you go out and you get an additional job. Maybe somebody hooks you up with a job. Maybe somebody puts you on to a new source of income or way to make income. Or maybe you have some more stable people that come in your life, Gemini, that can help you do that. So you're going back to something. You're getting to. I know some Geminis that are going back to school this semester coming up. I'm here in Maryland. The college semester in Maryland starts at the end of August. So you could be going back to school. Something that you do, you meet through other people. It's not just going to be alone. It's going to be some people, some group of people that you work with, or that you meet, or that you socialize with. That is something that you've done before, something that you're going back to, a way that you're revisiting is going to help you build this stability with this 10 of Pentacles in the future. And you will be A-okay, Gemini. A-okay when it comes to love, when it comes to family, when it comes to stability, because all of these 3 cards right here in the last row are upright. So you're going to be just fine, Gemini. Believe me when I tell you. Believe me when I tell you. And I have 210, so that speaks even more of doing something over, going back to something, going back to a person, going back to school, going back to budgeting, going back to saving, going back to being independent and doing things on your own, going back to something from the past, something nostalgic, something that was good to you. For the most part, everything isn't all good. There's bad with everything. But once you weigh it against the other options you have, once you weigh it on the scale with the other options you have, the scale definitely tips to one side, with this 6 of coins being in reverse. And just none of this shit just coming out of confusion and saying nothing on the table is good, not being confused about what's in front of you anymore. Maybe you were confused. Maybe you were blinded by something. Maybe the grass seemed greener on the other side. It could be any of those sort of things. But with the world in reverse, the grass was not greener on the other side. Things were not what you thought they were going to be. And it even could have cost a lot of Geminis to lose money. Let's put this in front, because I really want you guys to pay attention to that King of Pentacles. To lose money. And again, this may have been something that involved a King of Pentacles person, a Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. Again, when you guys watch this, don't say, oh, well, this person, I don't know any Capricorn, Taurus, Virgos, because you, most of the time, unless you're really into the signs and astrology, you probably don't know that person's moon, rising, and Venus, or where they may have 3 or 4 planets situated in their chart. So it could be anybody. For those purposes, I call out the signs because we are dealing with the cards, but for those purposes, that's why I say it could be any sign. Because a lot of times it's right on point when you get the major arcanas that represent an archetype. It is right on point with the sign, but you just might not know all of this person's signs, and it could be an energy as well. So there could be people or energy. So it could be someone who is like a provider. It could be someone who's like a provider, someone who is very stable, a businessman, someone who is very enterprising, somebody who owns his own businesses, or he's independent, whether it's legal or illegal. He's very independent, and he gets his coinage. He gets his coin. He gets his coinage. He gets his paper. He gets his money. But he ain't been giving it to you. That's the issue. That's the issue, Gemini. So I'm going to go ahead and lay these Lenormand cards, but I need to get something to drink. So give me a second. Okay, Gemini, so let's finish this thing out with the Lenormand spread really quick. I closed my curtains. It's about to be evening. I hope you guys can see the table. I don't freaking know if you can or you can't. Hopefully you can. And I had to get dinner going because I am true to my sign. I'm a Cancer. I love to cook. Just going to do some stewed shrimp over cilantro rice with some added seasonings. And it's going to be so goddamn good, Gemini. So good. I know my Geminis, you guys like to eat too. But you guys don't always necessarily eat health consciously. I know my Geminis like their little sugary snacks and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I fucks with you Geminis too. I like you Geminis. I have Gemini friends that I go way back to my school days, and I have been out of school for some time, but go way back to like middle school days. And it's so funny. I have a Gemini friend who comes over, and we hang out. We'll hang out with my family and different friends and stuff like that. And of course I like to cook, so I'm always like cooking them dinner or cooking something to eat. If I go to her house, she's always cooking something to eat too. So it's like a thing. When she comes, I cook. Like, we eating no matter who's here. So on one time, she had came over, and it was a bunch of us, me, my cousin, some other people, and we were cooking and just having a good time. And I was like, oh yeah, I've got some cupcakes. Now my Leo girlfriend can appreciate these good cupcakes that I get from Whole Foods. But my Gemini friend, when she comes over, as soon as she tastes the cupcake, she's like, is this shit gluten-free? I'm like, yeah, it is. And every time she comes over, and it's something sweet, because I'm not the greatest baker, so I don't really bake. She knows how to bake really good, but I throw down as far as when it comes to cooking. But so I'll buy a lot of pastries because I'm not a big baker. I want to get better at baking. But every time now that she comes over for dessert, and you know, Geminis to give it straight to you like it is, she always says, this shit ain't gluten-free, is it? Before she even tries it, the first thing she asks is this gluten-free? And I'm just like, just eat it, goddammit. So anyway, Gemini, let's look at this Lenormand really quick. I'm not going to lay it on all the cards, but we're definitely going to put the Lenormand on the Three of Swords. So, Gemini, there was definitely a breakup. You're taking a break from somebody. You got the Bear, you got the Letter, and you got the Lady. You got the Man. Well, it's like the Lady card, it's the Garden card, but it talks about seeing a man, and it says you will soon see a man. This is the gardener's plan. Another thing's for sure, happiness is also in store. So I feel like that Three of Cards, somebody, you're taking a break from something that once made you happy, and you may still be in communication with this person, or you may hear from this person again. Like I said, we're in Mercury retrograde, but we are in a heavy retrograde cycle. Even Mars retrograde can bring things back from the past. Saturn is in retrograde. Saturn retrograde can bring things back from the past. I don't think we have too much more to go with this Mars retrograde. I think it ends in September or at the end of August. I kind of have a feeling it's September. But so that's what's going on with the Three of Swords. It's you're taking a break. You took a break to get yourself together from somebody that you were in a relationship with. And there is still communication going on. So that person may write you, they may text you. I feel like a lot of communication that you may have with this person who you had this broken heart or broken relationship with, the communication comes in writing. So it's either text, social media, or something like that. And it's somebody that you were very happy with. But you could possibly get back with this person and be happy again in the future. So I'm not going to do the world because we basically know choices and shit just didn't go your way. Some things you chose, a path you chose kind of has you stuck right now. So let's see what's going on with, I'm going to do the King of Pentacles. Do I want to do the Seven of Cups? Let's do the Seven of Cups. Somebody was a snake. Somebody was sneaky. somebody broke your heart. This could have been somebody you were married to. This could have been somebody you were married to. Or maybe this could have been you, Gemini, that was sneaky. Because you got the lilies, you got the snake, and you got the heart. And I keep seeing this about the heart. So I feel like someone turned on somebody, and it most likely was someone that you were in a marriage with. I see commitment. So if you weren't married to this person and you guys didn't have like a legal marriage, it could have been a long-term commitment. You could have been with this person for a long time, and there was some sort of betrayal, or this person turned really, really nasty with the snake. So they bit you, or they said things that really attacked you, and it just left you disillusioned about who this person is that you gave your heart to, who this person is that you let in. And again, there may be a select few Geminis that are having heart issues out there. I got the heart card twice, the Three of Swords in reverse, and then the heart card here. But again, this person may also say slick words and nice words to try to get your heart back, but then maybe some of the actions that you see do not materialize from this person's words. Maybe they're very misleading when it comes to the things they say versus the things they do, and it really pulls at your heartstrings. It really messes with your emotions. The King of Pentacles, you have the Synth, cutting them off. You have the man, the husband, the partner card, and you have the Sun. So with the Synth, let me just see with the 28 card, which is the husband or the man card. Whether husband, partner, or friend, this card has a message to send. The lesson of the day. Listen to what your man has to say. And then the Sun. If the shining sun is near, your joy will be unending. But if fading far away, tears of sadness could be unending. So I feel like you had to cut a guy off. You had to cut a dude off. And it's either Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo. It could, like I talked about, I see a lot of water sign energy in this spread. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. And then for the Sun card, Sun usually represents Leo. So you guys may have been dealing with a Leo as well. But I believe you had to cut this man off, this King of Pentacles in reverse, or he cut you off because of another situation or other things that are going on in his life. Or if you cut him off, it's just because he's just not making you happy. There's nothing coming out of the relationship. So you feel as though in order for you to be happy, that you had to cut this person off. And that's the feeling that I had with that King of Pentacles. And I guess we can do the last card, that Six of Pentacles in reverse. Hard times, clouds, storm, the doghouse. You got somebody in the doghouse. And then the stars, wishing for better days. So you guys got the clouds, the storms. Shining clouds shower you with happy rain. But beware of darker clouds along with stormy weather. Trouble may soon be there again. So be careful going back and forth with a person, Gemini. And you guys usually can make a clean cut. I believe the person that you're dealing with, especially if it's this earth sign, Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo, it's going to always be like that. That situation may never change. That person, and earth signs are very slow to move, very slow to change. So that person may always be that way and end up always leaving you feel unhappy. And it says, when a dog is nearby, this means your friend is true. But if he's far away, your friendship may be through. So it's like the dog in the doghouse. And I feel like that's how that man is. He's not close to you. He's far away. And that is what's bringing you these cloudy days. That's what makes you unhappy, because he's not right next to you. He's not that loyal friend. He's not that loyal dog that's by your side. And then it says, if the star comes alone, you will be happy. If it's breaking through the clouds, your worries could become your shroud. So beware of flashy people, because one thing you may notice is this particular guy, this particular man looks good on the outside, but you may not find much substance, and you may find a very narcissistic or vain person on the inside, Gemini. And that may be with what you're dealing with. And if that's what you're dealing with, I definitely think that you guys may need to move on. And another point in this spread is this could be a dual spread. You guys may be dealing with more than one woman or more than one man, and you may be having to make some decisions about which way to go. I would say the earth sign may not be the way to go, Gemini, but I can't truly say that. You know your history with the person, you know what you've been through with the person, and you have to make those decisions. But it's about choice. It's definitely about choice, and the choice to make is a person who is always there for you, not there for you when it's convenient. The person who has always been there for you. So if you're choosing between an earth sign, a water sign, and a Leo, I think the best, and remember, if you guys need to look up your birth chart, a lot of times for a quick chart, I go to Cafe Astrology, because you can go right to free reports, go to birth chart. All you have to do is put in your name, your date of birth, and your time of birth. If you don't know your time of birth, set your time of birth to 12 p.m. and you can get the placements that are important for this reading. Without your correct time, you will not know your ascendant accurately, so be wary of the houses because they may not be correct unless you were born within that 2-hour span of the 12 p.m. But at least you'll get your moon for the most part, because the moon moves so quickly. For the most part, 90% of the time, the moon that it gives you when you don't know your time is going to be correct. I always double check a moon for times I don't know, because because the moon changes signs every about 2 to 3 days, depending on how long the month is. Some of the longer months, it may take like 2.5, 3 days. The moon may be off if you don't know your time, because you could have been born on a day where the moons switched signs. So if you don't know your time, all your other planets are going to be accurate, except for, of course, your degrees might not be accurate, but all your other planets are going to be accurate. Your houses won't be accurate, and your ascendant won't be accurate if you don't know your time. Your moon, for the most part, is going to be accurate, but as a double check, I always go check moons for times I don't know, in case that person was born on a day where the moon switched signs. And you can check the moon of any year and any date. Just Google moon, what sign was the moon in 1972 or 1969, and there's records that go back that tell you what sign the moon was in. Or you could get an ephemeris if you're really into astrology. So whatever sign that was there for you, whichever sign has been the most loyal, whichever sign you've been through the most with, if you're trying to choose between two people and you're really contemplating going back to someone, that maybe this the person you took a break from, or you had a breakup with and you're in some sort of communication with. But the one who appears before you that's been the most loyal is probably the direction that you need to go in, Gemini. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Write me comments below. I respond back to my comments. 9 times out of 10, I try to respond to every comment. If you have a situation, we can talk about it a little bit in my comments. If you don't feel comfortable talking about it in public, email me. I'm not going to do tarot on it. I'll just give my common sense advice and just conversation. A lot of times people need somebody to talk to. But of course, guys, if you value something, you shouldn't give it away for free. So I can't do it for free because I work hard. I have to make a living. This takes a lot of my time and tuition. It takes me a lot to sit down at these tables and do readings. It's something I care about very much. So if you want in-depth information, or this spread resonates with you, but it's a little tricky and you can't quite figure out what's what or which way to go, you can always get a tarot reading from me. But I'm always down to talk. I'm always down to chat. And I really, really like to hear if it resonated with you. If it didn't, make sure to like the video so my videos can circulate. I really want to get my viewership back up. I haven't been that consistent over the past like 6 months to a year. So like the videos, share the videos. If you're not a member, subscribe. I do card chats, come and talk about popular topics, and just looking to expand the channel. So I thank you guys. I wish you Geminis nothing but the best. And I hope the eclipses have been good to you. And I hope as we go into the fall, you round out your year in an awesome, loving way. This is Madam X. This is Frequency Real Radio, and I'm out. See you guys.